Welcome, John Report fans, to another update to the YouTube channel. I'm David K, and alongside me, as always, is the main eventer, John Canton.
Hello, everybody. We're 3 weeks away from WrestleMania, so getting a little excited in the wrestling world. And once that's done, it kind of cools down. So we got to enjoy this 3 weeks while it lasts.
Yeah, we're not going to get a whole lot of wrestling right now.
Am I right?
Unfortunately, it's going to be a lot of storylines and things like that.
Promos and video packages on SmackDown this last week. All they had was video packages from Raw. It was just like, okay, where was SmackDown this week? It was just all video packages, it seemed. And there were some good promos, but I don't know. I understand why, but it makes it frustrating to watch TV. But I guess we're going to be excited for WrestleMania, so that's the point.
That's true. So we're getting excited about a lot of matches. They've got a good card right now so far. But the one big thing I see as a common theme, and obviously you've written about it multiple times, is that the tertiary titles, your tag titles, your IC title, your US title, they don't really have anything going on right now. So I know you write about this a lot. What do you think is going to happen going into WrestleMania, and what do you think should happen going into WrestleMania regarding all those things?
It's just weird, like, you know, the way we grew up as wrestling fans, right? The Intercontinental title meant so much, right? It was about all, you know, almost all the guys had them before they went to the world title. They had the Intercontinental title. And at WrestleMania, there's a lot of good Intercontinental title matches. You can forget the ladder match at WrestleMania 10. Some people say that's the best match ever. It's probably in everybody's top 10. And, you know, the belt meant something. And then now, Kofi Kingston's got the Intercontinental title. He hasn't had a feud. Daniel Bryan's had the U.S. title for 6 months now, Dave. You were there when he won the belt, right?
Yep, over at Night of Champions in Chicago.
In September, and now it's March, and he still has no feud. And let's not forget, his pay-per-view matches were against The Miz and the other one against John Morrison. Both were about 4 stars. Then you had a couple against Dolph Ziggler, both around 4 stars. And even WWE.com said one of those matches was tied for the match of the year with Undertaker Michaels, which is a bit of a reach, but, you know, that was their way of putting over the match. So then what does he do? He gets a feud with the fucking Bellas. And here he is now, going into WrestleMania, and does he have a match? No. Maybe against Sheamus, right?
Yeah, so far, but it's not a straight
just
one-on-one match.
Throwing it together.
It'd be a mixed tag match with the Bellas and Gail Kim.
Yeah, that's the rumor. That's the rumor. Him and Gail Kim against the Bellas and Sheamus. So who knows if that's going to happen? And then you got Kofi. We don't even know if he's in a match. His rumored match is he's going to be teaming up with the Big Show and Kane and Christian against the core, the 4 against 4. So it's like that's just a random thrown together match. These feel like TV matches, you know what I mean? And because there's no Money in the Bank match, these guys can't really have a showcase match. So now they're just going to be just another guy on the card. And as I was talking to you before we did this, you can recall the Angle, Benoit, and Jericho match at WrestleMania 2000. You want to talk about that a little bit?
Oh, I really think it's underappreciated in the long history of things. I mean, anybody who watched the match, with the exception of Jericho, will say it's a great match. I don't know if anybody read Jericho's book, but he definitely looks back on it with kind of a sad look because he always thought he could have done a lot more. But anyways, I really think it was one of the great matches in at least the Intercontinental Belt's history because it gave it a lot of value, even though it was tied to the European title at the time, because these were 3 guys that really knew how to work, that all had a really technical style, and they really brought it. And I think it was probably the last time that the Intercontinental Belt meant anything in my eyes. It was the last time it really peaked. I mean, I know Jericho and Mysterio have had some matches since then, but I think the last time that it was really good was at that WrestleMania, at WrestleMania 2000, when they had that 3-way dance for both the titles.
Yeah, and there was Jericho Benoit had some really good matches too. In this case, it was the European title, not the U.S. title, but same difference, same thing now. So we were just talking and we were saying, what if they did a match like that where it was Daniel Bryan, U.S. champ, and Kofi Kingston, IC champ, and you stick in John Morrison because he's got nothing else going on, and he deserves to be on this card big time, and you just give him 15 minutes and you say, go out there, we would do 2 falls, and then you can just, put both belts on Morrison, put both belts on Bryan, switch them around. There's a lot of options you could do. It's a babyface match. They'll be kicking out of finishers. They'll be kicking out, breaking up pinfalls. The crowd would be probably electric because they like all these guys, and their action in the ring is really good too, right? So I just don't see why they don't want to do things like this. The other thing is they're all baby faces. They're all guys you want to see going forward. So maybe it's a good showcase match, like a show-stealing match. You know what I mean? They never seem to have those anymore.
Yeah,
Like the way, Randy Savage versus Ricky Steamboat was kind of like a mid-card match, but they stole the show at WrestleMania 3. Shawn Michaels, Razor Ramon stole the show. There's no mid-card acts doing that anymore, and that's the biggest problem.
I disagree. There totally was. And you know what it was? It was Money in the Bank. And what did they do with that? They took it away. It was the match that, had 6 to 7 guys, some of them kind of established guys, some of them not so much, and that was what their venue was to get over with the fans. I mean, they did so well that they named an entire pay-per-view and concept after it, but they took it away. And I think that's what bothers me the most out of all this, is that there was a way for them to showcase their talents and have that show-stealing match, and now they're going to be relegated to some kind of battle royal or 3 to 6 man tag, et cetera thing, where it's not going to have as much meaning and they're not going to have as much time, and they don't want to overshadow the next guy on the card. And
yeah, instead of sticking 6 to 8 guys in the Money in the Bank match and letting them show their stuff. I hear you. But on the other hand, I did love the Money in the Bank pay-per-view. I mean, we got 2 really good matches out of it, so I have a pro and con about it, but I think they should still do it at WrestleMania because it's kind of been a staple. And you could always just have somebody not use it, but I guess they don't want to have 3 people carrying around briefcases, come July. If you'd force somebody to use it before July, so I think it would lose the appeal a bit. But
well, you do it for something else then. Instead of doing it for the briefcase, maybe you do it for a title. But you still have 6 to 7 guys doing it, which is really what the appeal is. I mean, that's kind of the appeal of the TLC match, is not that it's 3 guys, but that it's 6 guys going at it, and there's a lot of different spots. Guys can set up things while other things are going on. I think the appeal of having 6 people in the match at once, plus having that ladder, that dangerous part of it, I think it really mixes in to have it's a good concoction for a great match.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, you could stick the IC title up there and say, here's 6 guys, go for it, but they don't really care about those belts, and that's a big issue. And then the other one we were talking about was the tag titles. Is it ever going to be defended on the pay-per-view? The core guys have it right now. I don't even think they'll defend it at the pay-per-view. Yeah. There's no feud.
What really bothers me is that, I don't care that they're not defended on Raw. Okay, fine. I understand. You want to get more show rather than matches. Understandable. It bugs me.
More Michael Cole time.
What's that?
More time for Michael Cole.
Right. And it bugs me that it's not on SmackDown. It irritates me because that's supposed to be the wrestling show, but they're kind of trying to get ratings, so I understand that. But they've got that show, Superstars, where it seems like all these guys are relegated to kind of hone their skills in. And I know it's not a big show, but it'd be nice to have these other titles kind of build their feuds on that show with great matches, great working, maybe a promo here and there. And not a whole lot of people may be interested in it, but maybe you promote it on Raw. Say, hey, check out Superstars, and you know why Daniel Bryan and Sheamus are having this, spat or whatever. I think they really are not. They're inappropriately using that show for what they could do. And that's why I really like the old ECW, is because while a lot of people hated, the new ECW because it wasn't the old ECW, it gave the time for these undercard guys to kind of build feuds, kind of practice their skills, hone them in.
Yeah, remember all the Yoshi Tatsu against Christian and Zack Ryder against Christian, and it's they got 12, 13-minute matches on TV.
Yep.
And they had some really good matches. Christian's a good worker, and so I'd watch Zack Ryder have these 50-minute matches with him that were 3.5-star matches, and it's just now he's nothing. And you could why not put Ryder and Hawkins together again, and why not put the Hart Dynasty back together? They just break up teams for no reason, and I don't understand it. Tag booking is very easy to do. And I mean, when WWF was coming up in the 80s, and part of their strength after, the Hogan Savage Warriors, the tag division was really strong. They used to headline house shows with tag matches, like British Bulldogs versus Hart Foundation, because oftentimes they would run 2 events on a Saturday and a Sunday, and they would have Hart Foundation versus British Bulldogs as the main event, and it would sell out. Hogan's at the other building, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
and now they don't even give a shit. I just don't get it. I'll never understand it.
It seems like since the Rock and Sock connection, and I know a lot of people will give me other names before them, such as the Mega Maniacs and things like that of established people, but it seems more so since the Rock and Sock connection that they're more concerned with building up two guys and then putting together as a tag team rather than build a tag team and then kind of
Well, I mean, after the Rock and Sock connection, we did have the Hardys, Edge and Christian, and
but
Dudleys.
They were there before them.
No, they were there after. Well, before and after, though.
I'm saying, right, but after the Rock and Sock connection, can you think of any tag teams that were created that stuck around for more than 2 years? I'm going to set that time limit, 2 years, because Billy and Chuck don't count.
Yeah, did Eminem lasted a few years, but I don't even know if it was a few years, maybe 2.
I don't even know if it was 2, because Morrison then got the, Johnny Nitro went over to ECW.
Got the singles push, yeah.
Yeah, got the push.
They broke up London and Kendrick early.
Yep.
They had a lot of momentum.
So, I mean, you see what I'm saying with this stuff.
Yeah.
Since that was kind of like the defining point where it was like, oh, these guys can't get over as solo guys. So we've got some established guys, we'll use them, but from here on out, it's going to be, if we have a young tag team, we're going to build them up, break them apart, and if we want to get a tag team, we'll take 2 guys who are already built up and then push them together, because then later on, we can have them feud, and there's a built-in reason for them to feud then.
Exactly. So, to sum this whole topic up, I think all we want is them to give a little time to the IC title, the US title, and tag titles. These things are supposed to have value. The guys holding the belts, they're supposed to want to hold the belts. They're supposed to have a lot of pride to hold the belts. They're supposed to show emotion when they win the belts, like cry, things like that. Let them talk, give a promo and say, you know, when I grew up, I watched Mr. Perfect, Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels, etc., holding this belt, and it was my dream to win this belt. Make them want to have that belt. But instead, they don't even get any time to have promos or develop storylines, and I think you're just hurting your company by doing that. What's the point of having the belts?
I'd really love if someone took the belt, a heel took any of the belts and threw it away and said, this means nothing. And then you forgot about the belt for, 60 days, because isn't that what the time is to defend the belt, is 60 days?
Yeah.
Anyway, so you take the 60 days
30.
without the belt, any of them, take any of the belts, this is what happens, and then 60 days someone says, hey, you know what, I want this belt or whatever, and then they have a tournament for it, thus bringing back any validity that someone wants it. Because I don't think anybody wants any of the belts anymore. Any of them.
That's true.
I think this whole Triple H Undertaker thing completely undermines anybody wanting a belt. I think The Rock coming back undermines the belt. The belts mean nothing anymore because there's so much more money to have being other places. The WWE champion is an afterthought.
There you go. Just poor booking. It's not like TNA booking, but it's still poor. It could be better.
Yep.
And I guess that's all we have to say.
And that's all it is. So I do want to thank everybody for listening in today on the podcast on the YouTube channel. I want to thank John for finding time to fit in with my schedule, because I know I've been quite busy lately, so I do appreciate him joining here. Make sure you're following both of us on Twitter, at John Report and at Dave the Awesome. Make sure you're checking out John's Facebook wall, where there's tons of craziness going on. It's a circus of wrestling that everyone seems to enjoy. He's facebook.com/thejohnreportnet, correct?
That's right.
And then, of course, you're following us on the YouTube channel. Make sure you click that subscribe button. It's youtube.com/thejohnreportnet. And, of course, all these lead right back to the website where everything starts and where everything finishes at thejohnreport.net. For all your wrestling needs, TNA, WWE, and sometimes other stuff like ROH and all the independents. Any final thoughts?
And we like to cover history, too.
Ooh, we'd love to cover history, of course. Make sure you're following my list of WrestleMania, which will be popping up this weekend again, hopefully. And thanks for listening.
Have a good one.